Have you ever wondered why some people look slim on the outside, but still struggle with serious health problems on the inside? The answer often lies in something called visceral fat, the dangerous fat hidden deep inside your abdomen, wrapped around your organs. Unlike the fat you can pinch under your skin, visceral fat is far more harmful. It increases your risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, inflammation, and even certain cancers. The shocking part is that many people don't even know they have it. Today, I'm going to reveal the fastest way to shrink visceral fat using methods that are supported by scientific research, not fad diets, not miracle supplements, not expensive treatments, just proven strategies that actually work. And if you stay until the end, you'll discover a simple 30-day plan that can help your body start burning this dangerous fat naturally and efficiently. Let's begin by understanding why visceral fat is so dangerous. Visceral fat isn't just stored energy. It's metabolically active tissue that releases inflammatory chemicals and hormones into your bloodstream. These substances interfere with your body's normal functions and can silently damage your health for years before symptoms appear. This is why reducing visceral fat isn't just about looking better. It's about living longer and feeling healthier. The second key is nutrition. Research consistently shows that reducing refined carbohydrates and added sugars is one of the most effective ways to decrease visceral fat. Foods such as sugary drinks, candy, pastries, and heavily processed snacks cause rapid spikes in blood sugar and insulin. Elevated insulin levels encourage fat storage, particularly around the abdominal organs. Replacing these foods with lean proteins, vegetables, healthy fats, legumes, and whole foods can significantly improve fat burning efficiency. The third strategy is intermittent fasting. Studies suggest that extending the time between meals can help lower insulin levels and encourage the body to use stored fat for energy. A simple approach, such as a 16-hour fasting window and an 8-hour eating window, may help many people reduce visceral fat while maintaining muscle mass. The key is consistency rather than perfection. Next comes exercise. While any movement is beneficial, research indicates that combining strength training with high-intensity interval training produces exceptional results for reducing visceral fat. Strength training helps preserve muscle and increase metabolism, while short bursts of intense activity improve fat oxidation. Even 20 to 30 minutes a few times per week can create meaningful changes over time. The fifth factor is often overlooked: sleep and stress management. Chronic stress increases cortisol, a hormone strongly associated with abdominal fat accumulation. Poor sleep further disrupts hunger hormones, making cravings more difficult to control. Prioritizing 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep and incorporating stress reduction, techniques such as walking, meditation, or deep breathing can dramatically improve results. Finally, let's discuss a simple 30-day action plan. Eliminate sugary beverages. Eat more protein at every meal. Walk daily for at least 30 minutes. Perform strength training 2 to 3 times per week. Experiment with a reasonable fasting schedule. Aim for consistent sleep. And most importantly, track your progress through waist measurements rather than relying solely on the scale. Remember, there is no magic shortcut. The fastest way to shrink visceral fat is to combine evidence-based nutrition, strategic fasting, regular exercise, quality sleep, and stress control. When these habits work together, your body becomes a powerful fat-burning machine. The transformation won't happen overnight, but with consistency, the results can be remarkable. Your future health depends on the choices you make today, and every positive step brings you closer to a stronger, healthier, and longer life. Imagine carrying around a hidden threat inside your body every single day without even realizing it. That is exactly what visceral fat does. Unlike the fat that sits just beneath your skin, visceral fat is stored deep inside the abdominal cavity, surrounding vital organs such as the liver, pancreas, and intestines. What makes it especially dangerous is that it is biologically active. It doesn't simply sit there waiting to be used as energy. Instead, it constantly releases inflammatory substances and hormones into your bloodstream, affecting nearly every system in your body. Many people focus only on the number they see on the scale, or how they look in the mirror. But visceral fat can be present even in individuals who appear relatively thin. This is why some people are surprised when they develop health conditions despite not being visibly overweight. Research has shown that excess visceral fat is strongly linked to insulin resistance, which makes it harder for the body to control blood sugar levels. Over time, this increases the risk of developing type 2 diabetes and other metabolic disorders. Visceral fat also places significant stress on the cardiovascular system. The inflammatory compounds it produces can damage blood vessels, contribute to plaque buildup in the arteries, and increase the likelihood of heart disease and stroke. In addition, high levels of visceral fat have been associated with elevated blood pressure, abnormal cholesterol levels, fatty liver disease, and chronic inflammation throughout the body. One of the most alarming aspects of visceral fat is how quietly it develops. It accumulates gradually through poor dietary habits, physical inactivity, chronic stress, lack of sleep, and hormonal imbalances. Because it is hidden beneath layers of muscle and internal tissue, many people do not recognize the problem until health complications begin to appear. Understanding the unique dangers of visceral fat is the first step toward taking control of your health and protecting your body from long-term damage. If there is one nutrition strategy that consistently stands above the rest when it comes to reducing visceral fat, it is controlling the foods that trigger excessive insulin production. Many people believe that all calories affect the body in the same way, but science shows that the source of those calories matters greatly. Refined carbohydrates and added sugars are among the biggest contributors to the accumulation of visceral fat because they cause rapid spikes in blood sugar levels. In response, the body releases large amounts of insulin, a hormone that helps move sugar out of the bloodstream and into cells. When insulin remains elevated for long periods, the body becomes more likely to store excess energy as fat, particularly around the abdominal organs. Sugary beverages are one of the worst offenders. Soft drinks, sweetened juices, energy drinks, and flavored coffees can deliver massive amounts of sugar in a very short period of time. Because liquid calories do not create the same feeling of fullness as solid foods, people often consume far more calories than they realize. Research has repeatedly linked high sugar consumption to increased visceral fat accumulation and a greater risk of metabolic disease. Replacing processed foods with whole, nutrient-dense options can create a powerful shift in the body's ability to burn fat. Lean proteins such as eggs, fish, chicken, and legumes help stabilize blood sugar levels and increase satiety, making it easier to avoid overeating. Vegetables provide fiber that slows digestion and supports healthy blood sugar control. Healthy fats from sources like avocados, nuts, seeds, and olive oil help keep hunger under control while supporting hormonal balance. Another important factor is protein intake. Studies suggest that higher protein consumption can help preserve muscle mass during weight loss while promoting greater fat reduction. Protein also has a higher thermic effect than carbohydrates or fats, meaning the body burns more energy digesting it. By focusing on whole foods, reducing added sugars, increasing protein, and prioritizing fiber-rich meals, the body becomes more efficient at accessing stored fat for fuel and less likely to continue accumulating dangerous visceral fat around vital organs. One of the most powerful and scientifically supported tools for reducing visceral fat is intermittent fasting. While many people focus entirely on what they eat, research suggests that when you eat can also have a significant impact on how your body stores and burns fat. Intermittent fasting is not a diet in the traditional sense. It does not require counting every calorie or eliminating entire food groups. Instead, it involves alternating periods of eating and fasting, allowing the body more time to access stored energy and improve metabolic function. When you eat throughout the day, especially frequent meals and snacks that contain refined carbohydrates, your insulin levels remain elevated. Since insulin is a storage hormone, the body tends to prioritize storing energy rather than burning fat. During a fasting period, insulin levels gradually decrease, creating an environment where the body can begin tapping into its fat reserves for fuel. Because visceral fat is metabolically active and easier to access than some other fat stores, it is often one of the first types of fat to be reduced when insulin levels are consistently lowered. One of the most popular fasting methods is the 16-8 approach, where a person fasts for 16 hours and eats within an 8-hour window. For example, someone may have their first meal at noon and finish their last meal by 8 in the evening. This simple adjustment can help many individuals naturally reduce calorie intake while improving the body's ability to burn stored fat. Intermittent fasting may also support other processes linked to better health, including improved insulin sensitivity, reduced inflammation, and enhanced cellular repair mechanisms. Many people report having more stable energy levels and fewer cravings once their bodies adapt to a consistent fasting schedule. However, the real power of intermittent fasting comes from combining it with healthy food choices, rather than using it as an excuse to overeat processed foods during eating windows. When practiced consistently and paired with nutrient-dense meals, Intermittent fasting can become a highly effective strategy for shrinking dangerous visceral fat and improving overall metabolic health. When it comes to shrinking visceral fat as quickly as possible, exercise is one of the most effective tools available. However, not all forms of exercise produce the same results. Many people spend hours performing low-intensity workouts and become frustrated when they see little change around their waistline. Scientific research has shown that the most effective approach combines strength training with high-intensity interval training, often referred to as HIIT. This combination helps the body burn calories, preserve muscle mass, improve metabolism, and specifically target the dangerous fat stored deep within the abdomen. Strength training plays a critical role because muscle tissue is metabolically active. The more muscle you maintain, the more calories your body burns throughout the day, even while resting. Exercises such as squats, push-ups, lunges, rows, and resistance training stimulate muscle growth and help prevent the metabolic slowdown that often occurs during weight loss. Many people make the mistake of focusing only on cardio, but losing muscle can reduce long-term fat-burning capacity and make it harder to maintain results. High-intensity interval training adds another powerful element. This style of exercise alternates short bursts of intense effort with brief recovery periods. For example, a person might sprint for 30 seconds and then walk for 1 minute before, repeating the cycle several times. Studies have found that HIIT can significantly reduce visceral fat while requiring less total workout time than traditional steady-state cardio. The intense nature of the workout increases energy expenditure and can elevate calorie burning even after the session has ended. Regular movement throughout the day is equally important. Long periods of sitting can negatively affect metabolism and contribute to fat accumulation. Simple habits such as walking after meals, taking the stairs, standing more frequently, and increasing daily activity levels can support the body's natural fat-burning processes. Consistency matters far more than perfection. A person who exercises regularly for months will achieve far greater results than someone who performs extreme workouts for a few weeks and then quits. When strength training, interval training, and daily movement are combined, the body becomes far more efficient at reducing visceral fat and improving overall health. Many people focus on diet and exercise when trying to lose visceral fat, but they often overlook two of the most powerful factors that influence fat storage: sleep and stress. You can follow the perfect nutrition plan and maintain a consistent workout routine, yet still struggle to reduce abdominal fat if your sleep quality is poor or your stress levels remain chronically high. Science has repeatedly shown that these two factors have a direct impact on the hormones that regulate appetite, metabolism, and fat storage. One of the key hormones involved is cortisol, often referred to as the stress hormone. Cortisol is released whenever the body perceives a threat, whether it is physical, emotional, or psychological. In short bursts, cortisol is helpful because it prepares the body to respond to challenges. However, when stress becomes a daily part of life, cortisol levels can remain elevated for long periods. This chronic elevation encourages the body to store more fat, particularly in the abdominal region where visceral fat accumulates. From an evolutionary perspective, the body interprets ongoing stress as a signal to conserve energy, making fat storage more likely. Lack of sleep creates an additional problem. Sleep deprivation disrupts the balance of hormones that control hunger and fullness. Levels of ghrelin, the hormone that stimulates appetite, tend to increase, while levels of leptin, the hormone that signals satisfaction, often decrease. As a result, people feel hungrier, experience stronger cravings, and are more likely to overeat calorie-dense foods. Poor sleep can also reduce energy levels, making regular exercise more difficult and decreasing overall daily movement. Quality sleep allows the body to recover, regulate hormones, repair tissues, and maintain healthy metabolic function. Most adults benefit from 7 to 9 hours of sleep each night. At the same time, managing stress through activities such as walking, meditation, deep breathing, spending time outdoors, or engaging in enjoyable hobbies can help lower cortisol levels. When sleep improves and stress is brought under control, the body becomes far more effective at burning fat and far less likely to continue storing dangerous visceral fat around vital organs. Knowing the science behind visceral fat loss is valuable, but knowledge only creates results when it is turned into action. That is why a structured 30-day plan can be so powerful. Instead of relying on extreme diets or unrealistic workout programs, the goal is to build simple habits that work together to create a steady calorie deficit, improve metabolic health, and encourage the body to burn stored visceral fat. The beauty of this approach is that it focuses on consistency rather than perfection, making it easier to follow and maintain. The first step is to eliminate or drastically reduce sugary drinks and highly processed foods. Many people consume hundreds of hidden calories every day through beverages alone. Replacing soft drinks, sweetened juices, and sugary coffee drinks with water, unsweetened tea, or black coffee can immediately reduce calorie intake and improve blood sugar control. At the same time, every meal should contain a quality source of protein. Protein helps control hunger, supports muscle maintenance, and increases the body's energy expenditure during digestion. The second habit is daily movement. Aim for at least 30 minutes of brisk walking every day. Walking is one of the simplest and most effective forms of exercise because it is accessible to almost everyone and places minimal stress on the joints. In addition, perform strength training exercises 2 to 3 times per week to preserve muscle mass and support long-term fat loss. Combining these activities with short sessions of higher intensity exercise can further accelerate progress. Another important component is establishing a consistent eating schedule. Many people find success with a moderate form of intermittent fasting that limits unnecessary snacking and gives the body more time to utilize stored fat for energy. Alongside this, prioritize 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep each night and dedicate time to stress management practices that help regulate cortisol levels. Throughout the month, track your waist circumference rather than relying only on body weight. Visceral fat reduction often becomes noticeable through changes in waist size before dramatic changes appear on the scale. By following these habits consistently for 30 days, many people begin to experience improvements in energy, metabolic health, body composition, and overall well-being while steadily reducing dangerous visceral fat. As we come to the end of this discussion, remember one important truth. Visceral fat is not just a cosmetic issue. It is a serious health threat that affects millions of people without them even knowing it. The good news is that your body has an incredible ability to heal and transform when you give it the right conditions. You do not need expensive supplements, complicated diets, or extreme workout routines to start reducing visceral fat. Science has shown that small, consistent actions can create remarkable results over time. By reducing added sugars, prioritizing protein-rich whole foods, incorporating intermittent fasting, exercising regularly, improving sleep quality, and managing stress effectively, you are addressing the root causes of visceral fat accumulation. Each of these habits may seem simple on its own, but together they create a powerful system that helps your body become more efficient at burning fat and protecting your long-term health. The journey to a healthier body does not begin next month, next week, or even tomorrow. It begins with the very next decision you make after watching this speech. Every healthy meal, every workout, every extra hour of sleep, and every step you take moves you closer to a stronger heart, better energy levels, improved metabolism, and a longer life. Don't focus on being perfect. Focus on being consistent. The people who achieve lasting results are not those who make the biggest changes overnight. They are the ones who commit to small improvements every day and refuse to quit. Your future health is being built by the choices you make right now. Start today. Start small. Stay consistent. And 30 days from now, you may be amazed by how much your body and your health can change. The fastest way to shrink visceral fat is not a secret. It is the combination of science-backed habits practiced consistently until they become a lifestyle.